Everybody wants their own Jarvis, their own AI assistant, but nobody tells you that it's basically free. So this little box on my desk is a $50 Raspberry Pi, and right now it's running an AI assistant named Felix that texts me on Telegram and actually remembers stuff about my life from months ago. And the part that nobody actually tells you is that it costs me $0 extra, no API keys, no per message bills, because it runs off the Claude subscription that I already pay for. I'm going to show you it working, what it took, and the week it kind of tried to eat itself. So before Felix, everything I did with AI ran through a chat tab. Ask a question, get an answer, close the laptop, and it all just dies. I was re-explaining my projects over and over again. I was checking my email constantly just to see if anything new even came in, and that got old fast. And during school, I couldn't even be at the desk, so I needed something that worked while I was gone. But the second you Google that, always on AI assistant, every guide says the same two things: API key, pay per message. And I'm 16. I'm not signing up for a bill that grows every time I text my own AI assistant. So that was the challenge. It reaches me, it runs without me, and it costs nothing extra. Okay, so let me SSH into where Felix lives. So this little box has been awake for 15 days straight. And so this line right here, that's Felix. Well, at least his ears. Always listening for my texts. So right now, no AI is running. 0. Watch. And did you guys see that? A Claude process appears. The phone buzzes and then it vanishes. A whole AI just got born on this $50 box, answered me, and disappeared. That's why it costs nothing extra. Felix doesn't use an API key. It runs on Claude Code, the same subscription that I already pay for. That's the whole trick. So the build was 3 simple steps. I made a Telegram bot and pointed it at the Pi, which is how it texts me. I gave it memory, and so it writes files about what it learns and then reads back those files before it replies, which is the difference between a chatbot and something that actually knows you. And then I also moved it off of my laptop onto the Raspberry Pi, so it runs even when my MacBook is closed. And the best part about Felix is the little stuff that he does for me. Every morning at 7, Felix checks my email and texts me a debrief of the day. Like what came in, what actually matters, and what's going on today. I literally wake up to a briefing. That's the thing a chat tab can never do, stuff happening without me asking. He can also read and write my calendar for me. And since Felix is Claude Code, I can text him to write code for me wherever I'm at. Alright, so a few days ago, Felix had this thing that ran automatically every time a session ended. Pretty much just a little cleanup chore. Except that chore started a new session, which eventually would end, and then ran the chore again, which started another session. So it just kept looping over and over. And while I was off doing literally anything else, Felix was cloning himself pretty much, all night. And I only found out when I checked my weekly usage, and almost a fifth of it was just gone, and I hadn't even used Claude that day. So I went digging, trying to figure out what's happening, and honestly, Claude is the one that figured it out. And it said that Felix was spawning copies of himself, and the fix was pretty much just one line of code, basically saying, if you're a copy, stop. And that line is the reason why Felix is still alive. So yeah, guardrails are definitely not optional. So everybody wants their own Jarvis, and it turns out if you already pay for Claude, you can just have one. Everything you need to build yours is linked in the description, and I learned this from a YouTuber named Mark Kashef. Well, he taught my uncle, and my uncle taught me. As for Felix, he's still on that shelf, still texting me every day. Subscribe anyway.